Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. Beginning in Omaha, where law enforcement officials are publicly addressing community rumors regarding a recent fatal officer-involved shooting. 22-year-old Stephen Phipps was shot by officers on Saturday following a foot chase. According to an autopsy Monday, there were no injuries to Phipps' back or that region of his body. Now, Omaha police said they released that information to counter what they say were allegations that Phipps had been shot in the back. Officer interviews related to the shooting will be held on Tuesday. OPD expected to hold a news conference about the matter Wednesday. Neither officer was injured in the incident. The officer who shot Phipps is on paid leave during an investigation by Omaha police, along with the Douglas County Sheriff's Department and Nebraska State Patrol. City Council members in Norfolk spent hours in closed session Monday as they discussed 3 high-level police officers currently on paid administrative leave. Multiple community members spoke in support of suspended police officials Don Miller, Chad Ryman, and Josh Bauermeister during a public comment portion of the City Council meeting. The council then went into closed session to discuss pending litigation about the 3 with outside counsel. Miller's been with Norfolk Police since 1990, has been police chief since 2019. Ryman joined the division in 1997, was promoted to captain also in 2019, while Bauermeister oversees the C shift. Miller and Ryman were placed on paid administrative leave in August. Bauermeister was placed on leave in September. The city has not yet publicly commented on why the 3 are on paid leave. A southeast Nebraska man entered a plea Monday to armed robbery of the Vape Town store in Syracuse on Mother's Day. 53-year-old Detharun Siakam is accused of taking some cash and vape pens from the store after forcing the clerk into a back room at gunpoint. A charge of false imprisonment was dropped in a plea agreement. The judge ordered a 90-day evaluation by the Corrections Department and scheduled sentencing for December 23rd. Siakam faces up to 50 years in prison. Well, it may be soon hard to find some of your favorite foods or your next potential car even. That's because thousands of port workers from Boston to Houston are on strike as of just after midnight. John Lawrence has more.
This could be the most disruptive strike the U.S. has experienced in more than 4 decades.
Our membership's prepared to wait it out as long as it takes to secure a fair contract.
Members of the International Longshoremen's Association walked off the job 1 minute after midnight Tuesday. Among their ultimatums, higher pay and the continuation of its current ban on fully automated equipment.
Our members have done the homework. They know their worth, and essentially they demand fair wages and better benefits.
This move will cripple the transfer of a wide variety of goods from bananas to beer at cargo points along the entire East and Gulf coasts.
The longer the strike lasts, the more widespread the impacts are.
The Anderson Economic Group estimates a 1-week strike could cost the U.S. economy more than $2 billion, and depending on the length of the strike, consumers are likely going to see higher prices from retailers nationwide.
You're probably going to pay more for it, and it's going to take longer for you to get it.
The striking port workers could also feel the financial pinch.
Once we exhaust our savings, we don't know what the next move is going to be.
The United States Maritime Alliance, which represents the major shipping lines, terminal operations, and port authorities, claims the union won't negotiate in good faith despite offering wage hikes. John Lawrence, News Channel Nebraska.
Cities in rural Nebraska are grappling with the high cost of streets and storm sewers that precede workforce housing projects. But the statewide Arboretum is helping with green infrastructure that makes new lots more livable. Dan Swanson has that story.
Nebraska City became the home of Arbor Day because of the work of J. Sterling Morton 150 years ago, and it upholds that tradition today with shovel in hand. The city topped off construction of electrical, water, and street infrastructure for a 27-acre publicly funded housing subdivision with a tree planting supported by the Nebraska Forest Service and Nebraska statewide Arboretum through the 10 Free Trees program. NCTC's Amy Allgood credited construction and facilities manager Maury Stovall for consistent grant writing and resource marshaling for tree plantings.
You're like the J. Sterling Morton of our time.
She admitted that Stovall has the advantage of modern technology.
Have trees, he's writing tree grants all the time, and we're planting trees, and you have put, I don't even know how many trees, but I bet it's getting close to J. Sterling Morton's number. The only difference is he uses technology, he writes a little grant, and they're delivered. You don't have to go to the creek bed anymore and dig them up. And
the planting meets the goal for diversity with redbud, Kentucky coffee, catalpa, northern pecan, and bur oak trees.
Someday in 20 years, it's going to be very cool. But we start today.
Rob Schreiner of the Nebraska City Tree Board said bur oaks were widespread in the area when it was a milking cow operation and Grumman Airfield. So, 2 of the large trees are planted at the top of the hill along the newly paved Grumman Boulevard.
This is the start, so there's going to be a lot more private and street trees in this subdivision. Today's just day one.
Stovall hopes new homeowners will take advantage of the city's tree rebate program to get roots in the ground for a new tree canopy. From Nebraska City, I'm Dan Swanson, News Channel Nebraska.
Well, depending on where you live in Nebraska, harvest is either in full swing, nearing its end, or maybe even just beginning. This year, there's an increased risk of fire danger worth taking note of. Jake Bartecki has more.
It's a busy time of the year for farmers across Nebraska as harvest is in full swing in much of the state. However, unseasonably warm and dry conditions present certain dangers and challenges. The National Weather Service has warned of fire danger moderate to extreme across Nebraska.
And a lot of that is due to the lack of humidity, the higher temperatures, the wind, and it was great we got rain last week, but we could have got a lot more.
Beatrice Fire Chief Brian Dakey says harvest can lead to an increased chance of fire danger due to dust kicked up by machines, hitting a rock and causing a spark to ignite, and even machinery malfunctions. Dakey talked about how to avoid such instances.
Trying to keep their equipment as clean as possible. That'll help make sure everything has the maintenance performed before going out into the field, which I believe most of them do already.
Dickey says it's not terribly common for fire danger warnings to happen in early fall, but notes it has happened before. When it comes to burning, he's doubtful any should or will be taking place.
The only way to do a burn is to get a burn permit from the local fire chief. And I would be surprised if anybody's giving out burn permits right now.
In Beatrice, Jake Bartecki, News Channel Nebraska.
Turning to political news, the widow of Don Bacon's former political opponent has endorsed him in his latest congressional run. Ann Ashford, who has herself run for the 2nd District congressional seat, endorsed Bacon on Monday. Her husband, Brad Ashford, held the seat for 2 years as a Democrat before Bacon beat him in 2016. She lauded Bacon, a Republican, for voting against his fellow GOP House members on the Respect for Marriage Act and for helping DACA participants. Brad Ashford passed away from brain cancer in 2022. Officials at the University of Nebraska-Kearney will be dedicating one of their most anticipated additions to campus on Thursday. The Regional Engagement Center open now and housing UNK staff and private business tenants. It's a 52,000 square foot space meant to be the cornerstone of the University Village development. The $15.6 million facility hosts the UNK Alumni Association and the University of Nebraska Foundation. It also includes office space for Chief Industries, Allo Fiber, Olson & Wilkins Architecture Design and Planning. And from managing team dynamics to the pressure to win, coaching high school sports can be a challenging arena. Well, for nearly 3 decades, Gordon Rushville's head volleyball coach, Kim Campbell, has been in the game. And this month, she spiked a major milestone, her 500th win. Casey Wannenberg sat down with Coach Kim, who doesn't just rack up victories. She helps athletes dig deep and serve up life lessons along the way.
You're going to block, you're going to transition out.
They say practice makes perfect.
Get after it.
Or is it perfect practice makes perfect?
She works as hard in practice. There's not a day that goes by that I'm like, oh, that practice was easy.
Here we go, come on.
Either way, Gordon Rushville High School volleyball coach Kim Campbell
Give them some energy.
has spent countless hours in the gym coaching hundreds of players.
I have kept almost every practice plan. So I have boxes of practice plans, and to look back and see just how the game has changed is crazy. Some of the drills I ran in the first 10, 15 years versus the type of drills we're running now, much faster game.
Coach Kim has been serving volleyball drills for around 35 years, including 29 at Gordon Rushville.
And then kids have changed, families have changed, and so you have to adapt with that.
Kim credits those families for her latest milestone, her 500th win, making her one of the most successful coaches in Nebraska high school history.
I'm the 35th coach in the state to reach that milestone, and then the 10th most winning that's active right now.
In addition to the time spent here at the gym, Coach Kim says it really takes the support of the entire community to run a successful program.
When they say it takes a village to raise a kid, it also takes a village to put together a successful program. Stop, call your numbers.
A program that Campbell says is about more than just volleyball.
Give each other energy. I just want them to learn skills that they can use out in the real world that will help them get through some different situations.
Digging up life skills.
Work for what you want, really.
And hopefully setting her players up for life.
Volleyball has taught me to have a really good work ethic and work for what I want. And then also energy. If you don't have energy, it brings down the whole team, and that's something that you really need.
Because Coach Kim says winning the game of life is the biggest victory of all.
All right, high fives all the way around. You can get a drink.
In Gordon, Casey Wannenberg, News Channel, Nebraska.
Nice job. Way to work.
And you can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com and click on the News tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. You're watching News Channel Nebraska.